I'm sorry. I kind of feel like New York, you get what you get.
Yeah.
That's the best you could put forward. Mamdani didn't beat anyone.
Yeah.
He didn't, I mean, the Republican guy was still wearing a red beret.
Yeah.
I mean, how long is Prince?
I will not abandon my principles for fear of being deemed radical. As the great senator from Vermont once said, what's radical is a system which gives so much to so few and denies so many people the basic necessities.
Zohran Mamdani walked in brimming with confidence, armed with his usual polished progressive talking points. But by the time Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld were done with him, that confidence had completely vanished. Mamdani came prepared for a friendly debate if what he got, instead was a brutal takedown on live television.
This might be too elitist, but if you belong at a co-op meeting or a condo meeting.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. And it's where the mayor will use...
Hit the like button and subscribe, because you won't want to miss what happens next. In progressive circles, Zohran Mamdani is celebrated as a rising star, young, confident, and completely committed to his ideology. He's exactly the kind of politician who wins praise on college campuses and admiration from friendly media panels.
That was the best Republican foot forward. A disgraced governor he only won by 13.
Yeah.
And you just walk, there's 8 million people between here and Times Square
Who didn't vote. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, this wasn't a referendum on New York. This is no one gives it in New York. They don't care who the mayor is. They had a mayor who was law and order. Now we got to get rid of him.
He pushes all the familiar progressive promises: housing justice, wealth redistribution, and sweeping structural reform. In friendly circles, it works perfectly. The crowd applauds, the hashtags explode, and the energy feels unstoppable. But everything changes the moment he steps outside that bubble.
If the party feels differently about that, as Jessica says, then they really, really gotta talk louder about it, because that's the problem. You guys didn't speak up. You know, you grew this monster because you were too scared to discipline it as it expanded into every facet of our lives. Imagine if you had nipped wokeism in the bud rather than waiting for us to slay it with Trump. The Democratic Party are like parents of a criminal teen who raised him without any discipline or common sense, and then you released him into the wild.
Tyrus has the presence of a heavyweight enforcer with a deep respect for the Constitution, while Gutfeld turns political debate into a blood sport, mocking, relentless, and always ready to strike. This was never going to be a calm policy discussion. It was a live television showdown waiting to explode.
Mamdani bent the knee. He punked the out of him. First of all, when you two men meet, you sit down if you're equals. You stand next to me with your hands crossed.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when to talk. And what, you ain't never punked nobody before? Oh, it's beautiful. I've made him stand right there. Don't move. When that lady comes in, you're going to say you did everything, and you're sorry, and you're going to be better. Right?
Mamdani began confidently delivering his familiar message. The system is broken, the wealthy must pay more, and the government must intervene. But Gutfeld quickly reframed his vision as a plan where nobody works, yet everyone expects the reward. Tyrus then attacked what Mamdani could not easily defend: the practical consequences. With no buzzwords or academic language, he reduced the argument to simple reality. Mamdani appealed to fairness and morality, but Gutfeld focused on results. Because in politics, good intentions mean nothing when the plan fails.
And he's not even Ugandan. You know, by definition, you have to have parents or grandparents who are Ugandan. He was born in Uganda. Both of his parents are Indian, which might be the reason why they left. But what's interesting is he didn't say he was Indian because he knew they have the highest median household income in the United States, and he knew that wouldn't help him in the oppression Olympics. He was smart enough to see what could get him preferential treatment, so he adorned himself with a different race, which exposes the lie of identity politics. If it is so unfair to be black in America, why are you pretending to be?
Math does not care about good intentions, and the audience quickly felt the shift. Every time Mamdani returned to injustice and reform, Gutfeld punctured his argument with sharp sarcasm. Tyrus delivered the harder blow, warning that Mamdani's policies could hurt the working-class families he claimed to protect. In that moment, Mamdani hesitated, and on live television, hesitation is devastating.
Too much.
Yeah.
Now they're going to have a mayor in who says high-quality childcare.
And no police.
Yeah. There's another word for that. It's called trafficking.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no one is going to leave their child with an underpaid, angry person. Like,
Yeah.
you just leave them with your wife. But I'm just saying, what? The wives are underappreciated, right, husbands? Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, when you look at that,
Gutfeld's strength is turning policy into a punchline that instantly becomes the headline. Mamdani tried to respond with data and promises of long-term benefits, but Tyrus reduced the debate to one question: trust. Can voters trust that higher taxes and new regulations will not hurt families and small businesses? Gutfeld then reframed Mamdani's urgency as recklessness, because tearing down a system without a reliable replacement is not courage. It is improvisation.
He's one of the elderly tenants who comes in and just complains that the kids are making all this noise. She's at her wit's end. This is what an addiction to one idea gets you. I mean, she looked irrational. There was no function in her brain. She's a remnant of the past. This is where Trump derangement addiction brings you, to that spot where you're this mental unwellness. How many more examples?
Mamdani thrives in friendly rooms where bold progressive promises earn easy applause. But against Gutfeld and Tyrus, every joke, skeptical look, and pointed question made him increasingly defensive. He argued that major reforms are always mocked before being accepted. Gutfeld fired back with a brutal reality. Not every ambitious proposal is historic progress. Sometimes it is simply a bad idea wrapped in good intentions.
Trump's laughing and smiling because he's got him.
Yeah.
Mamdani didn't come in there. He sold, we call it wolf tickets. He sold all these, he's a this, he's a that. And when I get there, I'm going to tell him this. He went in the office. He's like, don't sit down. And what was that you said last February? Oh, sir, I was hoping if you could help me with my buses. And sure, let's go do a press conference. Like, that was ultimate Trump. That's how you are not such a non-threat that you can stand next to me like you're in the altar and the choir boy while I'm holding business at the big man desk. And Mamdani was like, yes, yes.
Mamdani was clearly outside his comfort zone. Gutfeld's humor and Tyrus's blunt attacks made his lengthy explanations sound defensive, while their quick responses felt decisive. Mamdani came prepared to discuss policy, but they challenged his entire worldview. No one changed their beliefs. But the rising progressive star quickly learned what happens when friendly applause is replaced by relentless scrutiny.
Ever seen what his argument is for that? He says it's because the box where you put the money, it makes the homeless people who come in feel very bad that they have to pay. So just remove the conflict that leads to violence against the bus driver. Just get rid of the bus fare, the toll box, and then all the stuff. That is the reasoning of a child. Well, how do you pay for how do you pay the income of whatever called the check? How do you pay the bus driver? How do you do? Where does the money go? How do you do this?
These encounters test more than ideas; they test adaptability. Mamdani arrived with bold progressive promises, but Gutfeld turned them into punchlines. The real damage came afterward, when the sharpest exchanges spread online without the full context. That is Gutfeld's formula. Take serious political ambition, run it through satire, and see what survives.
4 guys in this audience could have been better candidates and would have gave him a tougher fight. But no one bothered. So I'm
that
sitting there.
wasn't a compliment. Yeah.
No, it was actually 4 very bright guys here. And thanks for helping me get in the building. The door was pushed and they pulled. But it just goes back to the point. When you don't put anything forward, this is what you get.
Yeah.
If he would have had anyone to challenge him with any merit, any integrity,
Mamdani is used to being the disruptor, but this time he was the one under pressure. Tyrus kept returning to a brutal question. What are the consequences? Mamdani argued that major problems require bold solutions. But Gutfeld portrayed those solutions as dangerous overreactions, like fixing a leaking faucet with a wrecking ball. Suddenly, Mamdani was no longer promoting his policies. He was defending the damage they might cause.
I've yet to see anybody who's in the throes of Trump derangement ever improve or get better or be successful. Once they're in it, they can't get out. They need to get complete deprogramming, go to some spa in the middle of nowhere, do some trauma therapy. And you're right, Trump is the only thing the party has, because they cannot articulate ideas that are counter to his, because his are common sense. They're like, so the Democrats are like a yo-yo champion.
The debate became bigger than Mamdani, a clash between progressive revolution and skepticism toward radical change. Every sweeping promise he made was pulled back to practical consequences. Mamdani held his ground, arguing that fear of change protects unequal systems. But Gutfeld kept puncturing his rhetoric with humor, and in short-form media, parody usually defeats policy.
Then what, is he going to go back on, he's going to go on MSNBC and be like, when I saw the president, I told him this, and I was like this. Like, no, you sat there with your hands crossed and kept, look, is it okay to talk? Is it okay to talk? So this was a great day for President Trump, because this dude is what he is not leadership. Mm-hmm. He says whoever tells him. He's the toughest guy in the room when he's surrounded by his people. Mm-hmm. He went there to Trump. He's going to change things. He's going to do this. He should have been in there like not shaking his hand, talking. We're gonna take you down. I am your greatest.
Tyrus brought the debate back to reality, focusing on how Mamdani's policies could affect working families and small businesses. That forced Mamdani away from slogans and into the details. He deserves credit for entering hostile territory, but confidence alone was not enough. Without a clear plan for execution, bold progressive promises can quickly look dangerously reckless.
So back in 2009, Zohran Mamdani, or whatever, the Socialist Democrat nominee for New York City's mayor, identified as Black or African American when he applied to Columbia University. I guess there was no box for trust fund communist douchebag. But it didn't work. He didn't get in. He probably shouldn't have included a referral letter from this lady. But now, Zohran says he doesn't consider himself.
Gutfeld used humor and timing, while Tyrus translated Mamdani's policies into real-world consequences. Together, they challenged both his ideas and his ability to sell them. Mamdani proved he was willing to leave friendly territory, but he also learned a brutal lesson. Conviction means little without adaptability. In modern politics, controlling the narrative can matter just as much as the policy itself.